Hello and welcome, everyone, to the Skinny Jean Gardener podcast. How are you? Wow. I know it's only been a week, but I feel like this week has been long. But before we get into that, I want to say a big thank you to Meet the Farmers podcast. You guys have been messaging me on the old socials talking about this podcast. It's supporting the show for only another week after this week, which is a shame, but doesn't mean I'm going to stop listening. Meet the Farmers podcast with Ben Eagle. Now, it has been a busy week of snow, which means at the moment on my next to listen podcast, obviously Meet the Farmers, is this episode, right? It's called The Three-Legged Stool. The Three-Legged Stool. This week, Ben meets Wiltshire-based mixed farmer, dairy arable beef, David Butler, and learns about how he keeps his business sustainable through a multi-enterprise approach. Now, if that's not enough of a hook, I don't know what is. Meet the Farmers podcast is available right now. And in fact, when you listen to this on my podcast, that will already be last week's because it comes out every Monday, 9 a.m. Every Monday, 9 a.m. Meet the Farmers podcast. If you've not given it a listen, go check it out and say, hey, Lee sent me. Don't know if it's a good, some of you maybe don't. The nice ones of you, you know who you are. Say, hey, Ben, Meet the Farmers. Lee sent me. Thanks. Just leave it at that. Don't incriminate yourself further. Meet the Farmers podcast. Big up for supporting the show. Talking of the show, what a week we've got coming up for you. The best of this week. Before that, should we intro the song and then I'll tell you a little bit more. Waiting for you to answer. Yeah.
They get the gardener. That's him.
Thanks. Just leave it at that. Don't incriminate yourself further. Meet the Farmers podcast. Big up for supporting the show. Talking of the show, what a week we've got coming up for you. The best of this week. Before that, should we intro the song and then I'll tell you a little bit more. Waiting for you to answer. Yeah. Let's go. Sicilia. Or Pacilia, if you just read it off there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on.
Oh, I can't hear you, Anon. I've done something wrong with the thing. Anyway, elephant poop is what I got.
Didn't they get a gardener?
Excuse me. You got an allotment? When I go, don't put artificial grass on top of me, all right?
Are you going to get composted, Lee?
Yeah,
Migration.
welcome to the show. If you're new around here, say hey. Let me know on the socials at skinnyjeangardener.co.uk. I don't know what it is. At skinnyjeangardener on Twitter, Facebook, skinnyjeangardener. We are live every Monday to Friday with absolute gardening gold. Sometimes bronze. This week, gold. Before we get into that, what a week it's been. It has felt like such a long time since I chat to you listeners, for you peeps that listen on the podcast. Big up to you all for tuning in every Sunday. We have had, over in the UK team, we have had some white, fluffy stuff fall from the sky and cover the Essex lawns, roads, and pavements. Which means, everyone, I had to get it out. That's right. The sledge that has been sitting, collecting dust in the loft, has finally been used. It's exciting times here in the Connolly family household. I took Olive out and went down our local hill. Have you got a local hill? Went to a local woodlands called High Woods. We talked about it quite a bit actually on the show. And for the first time ever, I've never felt as much joy as a father in the past almost 6 years now. She's 6 now. In the past 6 years, just pushing your daughter down a hill over icy snow and watching it very slowly pick up speed, thinking, I hope she knows how to use the brakes, but this is going to be the best time of her life. And it was. It's so good. I was like, oh my, this is what fatherhood's all about, right? This is it. Putting your child in snowy danger. Yes, I'll have some of that. She loved it. We went up and down about five, 6 times until quite a bit of snow ended up in her welly boot. We had some tears. I'm going to tell you, we had some tears coming back home. It was a long, teary walk that only a chocolate bar stopped for a very small moment. After that, bring on the tears. But yeah, I mean, that has basically taken up most of my week. Not all of it, don't get me wrong. Homeschooling. We've only hopefully got a few more weeks, guys. Only hopefully a few more weeks. But fingers crossed. Homeschooling's been tricky. I'll be honest, it has been tricky this week. Part of it was, I know it's not gardening based, but hello, mums and dads. Part of it was mathematics. Hello to my maths teachers. I'm still no good at maths. And I actually sat in front of the computer while the teacher did a video, a very, very professional video, I must say, explaining the maths. And I just sat there laughing. And Olive was like, why are you laughing, Dad? I was like, I've got no idea what they're talking about. Let's move on to craft. Let's move on, I think. Let's move on. And then that mixed with very exciting news. You would have heard me on the podcast mainly last year. I don't feel like I've talked about it massively on the show this year. January's just flown by, right? Behind the scenes, keeping me busy as well as this show is the school plan, which I'm so excited about. So many people got in touch. Thank you so much. And asking me privately. I thought I'd mention it on the podcast and say, yeah, it's going great. Tomorrow, I mean Monday, we've got our first filming session, 2 filming days for the school plan. I'm very excited about it. Very excited to be doing some work and doing some filming. I'm a bit nervous. It's only a small team doing it. this team that went on the school tour. Almost a year since the school tour. Unbelievable. But I'm very excited about getting filming that. It launches in September. March the 8th, which is when we all hope in UK the kids are going to go back to school, but we'll see. Let's be safe, guys. Let's try and be safe. March the 8th, we're going to start taking pre-orders. Then you will not shut me up about it. I will constantly be talking about it, everyone. So yeah, very excited about that. Very excited. That's something we started talking about literally since we started this live show in September. Since we started talking about that, it's took a while, isn't it? But it's been going on behind the scenes. It's actually happened, which I'm excited about. It's going to be amazing. 2025, a unit in each primary school in the UK. That is the aim. That is the aim, peeps. So let's make that happen. I'm sure I'll talk about that in the future. A few things happen that we can. There could be an interview with me done by Sug at some point. I think we talked about that. So that's exciting. That's exciting. We'll talk about it a lot more then. But this week on the show has been incredible. An ups and downs special, I feel like, this week. Up and down. Monday was the first Good Mood Monday, which I really enjoyed. A lot of fun. No real aim, but just really just relaxed, chilled out. Great way to start the week on the show. Getting a few phone calls in, talking about a few fun bits and bobs, which was fantastic. I loved it. Thank you so much, everyone who got involved in that. Tuesday, we had Alan on the show, which was fantastic. You'll be able to hear some of that interview, or most of the interview, on the show today. Wednesday was now I said about Costa. We're still going to get Costa on. We still love Costa. I thought I'd try something different this week and get my man Danny Clarke and watch a little bit of Instant Gardener. It didn't go as planned. Let's just say that. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned. And then we had, obviously, the great fun doing garden homeschool 2, which we might get a little bit of that into the show. But lots happened this week, guys. It's hard to find the best stuff. So anyway, great fun. And should I mention the bad news? I said last week we're going to do Chili Friday, right? I know that, right? Thought I'd add it to the podcast. Be great fun. I said I was going to sow seeds this week. We're just going to hold off 1 week. 1 week, we will bring it. Don't worry, we will bring the Chili Friday vibe to the show. This week's been busy. It's been snowed off. All right? It's been snowed off. So just hold off. All right? Hold off on that one. Right, that's enough of me chatting at the start of today's show. So much coming up. So strap in, get ready, grab a cup of tea. It's time for the show. Hey, Alan. How are you doing?
That's all good.
Welcome to the show. I feel like, actually, we've had you on here before, right?
Yeah, I think I've been on before, but I can't remember what we talked about.
I don't know. I think it was a long time ago as well, like way back when.
But I do remember chatting with you on your podcast. I remember when you done your all-nighter, and I called in, and I was in America, and it was like 3 a.m. or something at your end, and we had a chat. I hope that kept you awake a little bit longer.
I mean, I was in a daze that day, so it doesn't mean Richard literally carried me through that. So, so. How's things been? It's been all good? Considering?
It's been all good. Yeah, as good as it can be.
Well, hey, someone might listen to this in like 2025 or something and then not even know about it. So just pretend it's all good, and we'll rock on.
It's like never know anything was going on in the world.
Yeah, sure. We'll be forgotten about. We'll laugh about this one day.
I think one day we will look back and be like, do you remember that crazy time where we all just had to sit at home for like a whole year, and everyone's gonna be like, don't be crazy, that never happened.
So many conversations I've had in the last couple of weeks, and people are like, oh, remember we went away when we went on holiday last year? And I was like, we didn't go anywhere last year. Like, it's like so many conversations, people have like basically wiped out 2020 out of their mind.
Yeah, just pretend it's 2019. 2020 never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a thing.
The reason I've got you on is because gardening for well-being. What is a gardening for well-being for people that might not really know?
Do you mean gardening for well-being in general or the website?
Let's go in general to start with.
In general, start from the beginning.
Start, man.
Well, I guess that like gardening and nature and being outdoors, we know is good for our well-being. And fortunately, there's been a lot more studies and recognition of that, especially during lockdown, even though we're not really meant to be talking about that. But people have really kind of caught on to that need to be outside. But when you garden specifically for well-being, you might be looking at, doing something that's helping you in like your own mental state or perhaps even physical. So like you're actually purposely going into the garden to do something for your well-being. So we know that like going in the garden is good for us, and we can all go out in the garden and feel better after we've been gardening, or maybe worse if we're like aching equally. But that's a good ache, right? After a hard day in the garden. But actually gardening for well-being is sort of being a bit more mindful about it, kind of focusing on certain tasks that will help you feel better in like daily life. So like I always say, things like sowing seeds is just such a focused activity. Like you can't do other things when you're sowing seeds. Like you can't multitask, can you, when you're sowing seeds?
I'm a man, so technically it never happens anyway.
You can't anyway.
No.
This is very stereotypic here. But yeah,
sure.
when you sow seeds, like you have to concentrate on sowing the seed. Yeah. And talking about multitasking is actually really bad for your brain. So focusing on doing one job at a time is actually scientifically proven to be better for you. So you're more likely to do a better job, be more productive, more efficient, and actually like focusing on the task at hand. So like gardening for well-being is kind of specifically going out there to do something for your own well-being, rather than it being like the general going outside. It's really good for you. That's amazing. But kind of thinking a bit more about what it is you want to achieve.
Yeah, I hear you. Because the reason I really wanted to get you on, one, because of your website thing that we'll come to in a minute but also before this, I don't know. I think probably before last year, well-being and gardening, I think for me, didn't really. I mean, I know it was talked about a lot, but it never really connected with me personally. I know other people talked about it and stuff, but I thought it was a bit like, yeah, I love gardening. Like, I just do a bit of gardening, and that's it. Like, I can't really understand how the well-being thing comes alongside it. And then last year, I sort of personally realised the connection between that. And in the past 6 months, I've not actually been able to do much gardening for various reasons. But I've realised that my personal mental health has gone downhill because of that. So I think it's a really important thing to talk about and also get people to understand, because I don't know. I might be on my own. I could be like pulling a Jim Davidson here and saying, I don't really believe in well-being. But you didn't think I'd reference him today. And
no, where did that come from?
Unbelievably, people still listen to that one. Anyway. Advert Lee here, saying hello, how you doing? Hope you're enjoying the show. Now, when you're walking down the street and you say, cool, mate, you're looking pretty cool. You must be wearing a t-shirt. Yeah, probably one of these. And you go, good t-shirt, mate. Good t-shirt. Well, tonight, I'm asking you to support the show by going, good show, mate. Good. Well, if you listen to the podcast, obviously you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing a thumbs up. Good show, mate. Good show. And you can do it too right here by giving the video a good old thumbs up, a good old share to your mum, to your nan, whoever is your friends on Facebook or in YouTube or whatever, and go and subscribe. That's what you can do. If you're listening on the podcast, you can share the audio. But just share the show. It supports Lee more than anything. thumbs up. Yeah. Hey, look, check this guy out. Mr. Jackson.
Good evening. How are you?
How are you, man? I'm Pucker, dude. Pucker.
Fine. I still don't know what that Latin word is.
Quick. You don't have to say it in this accent, but quick as.
Yeah, I would look it up, but I'm not going to cheat, and I haven't got a clue. I expect Suggs knows, but Latin is not my strong point.
Well, luckily for you, every Monday I am here to make, because it is my strong point, as you well know. I'm fluent.
yeah, whatever.
Hey, dude.
I have enough trouble with English.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, dude. Apparently, spring is on its way.
I have snowdrops in the garden.
Wow.
And helleballs.
About snowdrops, right? Every
Yeah.
year, I feel like they come up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've got one of the girls at work reckons their daffodils are out in flower. Now that is early.
No, I don't think I've not seen no daffodils out. I've seen daffodils a lot earlier, but I haven't. There's no yellowness on the grass yet, mate.
No, all mine are green.
Yeah.
All I've got is snowdrops, helleballs, and a couple of primulas, stuff that would be out anyway. The snowdrops are definitely a week early.
Yeah. Have you ever been to? Probably the answer is going to be no, but I went to it, so I'll ask you anyway. Have you ever been to the Chelsea Physics Garden to look at the snowdrop display?
No. I've got naked gardeners up the road from us, so I can go and look at theirs.
What?
in what they call Abbey House Gardens in Malmesbury, which is not far from me, they're known as the naked gardeners because that's what they did. They gardened naked.
It says what it does on the
Exactly what it says on it. And they have days that you can turn up and go naked if you want to.
I mean, still.
Yeah. The chap, the owner, Ian Pollard, he died, but his wife's still there. She must be mid-70s, and now the daughter-in-law's taking it on.
Yeah,
he looks a little bit young. Is a bit younger, but it's the garden's amazing. It's an amazing garden, but I just go when you can go with your clothes on.
Yeah,
I put the visitors off.
I was a bit worried about what you're going to say there. I mean,
you got to look it up. It's a really good garden.
I mean, if you want to put a new spin on gardening, I mean, that's one way of doing it.
But they have been on Gardener's World.
Have they?
Mr. Titchmarsh went there, and he was pruning roses at the time. You imagine doing that with nothing on?
You got to be careful, mate. You got to be careful. You
got to bend over or anything silly.
I mean, I did start this conversation by asking. Well, I didn't even get a question out, did I? But I did mention it was spring, and you've gone straight to the naked gardeners. So is this something you're going to do in a new year, or?
No, I just thought they'd get you a few more viewers. That's all.
Oh dear!
Just want to get your numbers up for you, mate.
Cool. Good luck, mate. That's why we've got Good Mood Monday, my friend.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Good Mood Monday.
Well, it's about, isn't it, right? Yeah, spring is coming anyway. Mr. Suggett mentioned it.
Yes.
No, spring's coming. And I was like, is it? I get so lost on my days of what's going on at the moment. What are you most looking forward to, Mr. Jackson, for spring?
Oh, so I can get in my greenhouse and actually do some work. Like half term next week, I think that's where I will be most of the week in the greenhouse, putting seeds in. I know you think it's early, but I have to start early.
Well, you've got a lot to do, to be fair.
I have got a lot to do. I've got probably I don't know how many 100 seeds to put in, but I've got a lot. I've got to keep my sale table going from March through to July. Well, probably end of June, probably time I finish.
Do you literally sow and grow everything on your own? You have no help at all for this sort of thing?
My sister has helped me in the past. Last year, she didn't grow anything at all because of lockdown. Yeah. So last year, everything I grew was what I either sown or took cuttings from or split from my garden.
Wow, that is
so this year I've got probably 40, 50 plants already ready that will be ready come March, and then I've just got to start sowing. But it's all perennials. Nothing. I do a few annuals that people want, but most of it's perennial. So,
well, that's good, mate.
Yeah, I grow it. I grow it. They kill it, then I grow it again. So it's great.
Just the way of the world, isn't it, my friend?
Yeah.
What charity is it you do that for again, Jackson?
The brain tumor charity. We have our own fund. So we have it's called the Anne Jackson Fund, which was my mum. So that's why we do it.
That's brilliant, man. And this year, me and Mr. Suggett are going to do a 24-hour live, especially for that charity, mate.
I know, that is amazing, absolutely amazing. But you made me push my target up, so so
more pressure for us.
More pressure for me as well. So it means I've got to grow a bit. Because I said it on your show, 1,500 quid, so I've got to do it now.
Yeah, we'll smash it, mate, this year. Smash it.
Yeah,
what did you do?
Of course we will. We did £1,000. So when you think that was just putting the table outside my front door.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Anyway,
starting seeds now is not such a bad thing because they'll just sit there and then when the time's time, and then they'll pop up, won't they?
Yeah, I have got heat in the greenhouse, so they should germinate. So it's not letting them get too leggy. It's like, because they're perennials and they're hardy, I should be able to germinate them and get them outside quite quick, and then it'll slow them down a bit.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then come the end of March, hopefully they will fly off the table.
I'm sure they will, mate, especially this year.
Yeah.
People will be desperate for plants, so I think it will be
But
good.
I've got to do the same at school as well, so I'm going to be well busy.
Well, it's good to keep busy at the moment, mate. I was telling someone earlier, I said, just keep busy. That's all what it's about right now. We're looking forward to summer. Just keep busy through this bit.
Let's get through spring first, eh?
Yeah, but I'm looking forward, mate. Spring's still gonna be a bit of tough times in spring, I think. But keep busy in spring, summertime. We'll be hugging it. We might maybe not hugging each other, but we'll be at least looking at each other from afar.
Yeah, 6 weeks to spring. 6 weeks. That's all it is.
It's coming quick, mate. It's coming quick.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited. We're gonna sow some chili seeds this Friday, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, I will be on Friday watching you do it.
Get ready for it. Chili Friday is back this Friday. 100. I know I said last week. This week, 100%.
I've got my wind chime already made.
Oh, you're ahead of us.
So I will send it in to you.
Nice one, mate. Cool,
all
dude.
Natural materials. No plastic, no metal.
All
things you can find outside.
Right, we have got some knife and forks on ours, so we.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Miss Jackson, thank you so much for calling in.
That's all right, mate. Speak to you soon.
We watched Costa. Love a bit of Costa. We're gonna get him on. It's gonna happen. Love a bit of Costa. Love a bit of Ground Force. I feel a little bit like I need a Ground Force episode this month. We'll get that in. But for the next couple of episodes, I mentioned this. I said, favourite programme, right? Favourite programme, Instant Gardener, Helen Skelton, Danny Clarke. So great, right? So great. And I know the BBC love me streaming their programmes and talking about them. So there's no copyright problems there. So love it. So I thought it got a mixed review. I know it from Sunday mornings, 6 a.m. waking up, not because I want to wake up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday, but because Olive chooses to. Not so much now, luckily. And watching it for that. Olive loves it as well. It's a good program, right? So I thought I'd share it with you tonight.
Well, meet the instant gardener.
Ta-da!
Danny Clarke is an expert at transforming gardens.
Here's my plan. I'm going to rejuvenate this garden.
Each time our gardening guru will show you how to create gorgeous garden makeovers.
That's the art of garden design, delegation.
Each transformation will be packed with brilliant ideas and tips
Makes it easy.
to help you get to grips with your own outdoor space.
It does feel unnatural, but take your time.
With his magical ideas
These flowers will look like they're floating in amongst the grasses.
and advice on spending wisely on a budget,
That's why Danny makes me bring a list.
Okay.
Oh my word.
this is amazing. And because he's the instant gardener, everything you see will happen in just one day.
Oh my god.
No, right. So this is actual proper. This is why I love this show so much. Yeah. So actually, everything happens in one day. True. This is true story, right? We're not going to back too many years either. I don't know if we can. I wonder if we could. Usually on Ground Force, we can look back at the gardens. Maybe we'll try and do that next week for this one. Anyway, he does it in one day. I've met Danny a couple of times. He's an absolute legend. We had him on the podcast last year, and he's a legend. I love him. They've not recommissioned this program. Why, man? They put it out every Sunday. Every Sunday. Well, not every Sunday, but a lot of Sunday mornings, right? And they've not recommissioned it. We're only going back to about 2014, I think. So it's not going back too far away. Maybe from us watching it, we can get it to come back. This is a good bit, a bit good. I remember this show. It is great. It is great. And also, right, so remember like Ground Force, yeah? Ground Force is great. They do stuff. It's a, I was about to say it's a good makeover. Danny's is a good makeover, but it has room to grow. You know, like Ground Force would like whack 1,000 plants. And as we found out watching Ground Force, apparently they then took the plants away afterwards. But they pack out the borders. Danny don't bother doing that. Danny's like, yep, that'll grow. Few there, 1, 2, 3. Few there, sorted. All right, they'll grow. So you don't get the massive like sweeping shots of the final thing, but he makes the structure of the garden better. That makes sense. Makes the structure. It's amazing what you don't see when you don't watch TV. That's why we're opening your eyes, Sugget, to gardening TV, my friend. Right, let's get into it, guys. We've got a lot to get through tonight. Halfway through the show, and I'm reading the Skinny Jean Gardener book while I'm listening to this fantastic episode of the Skinny Jean Gardener show. I only got it for a tenner. It's on offer, innit? It's on offer. Let me tell you, one of my favourite makes, like the bird feeder. Oh. Love a bird feeder, me. Really simple, really easy. I did it with me kids just the other day, and they had a great time. We, in fact, were creating real memories. It says it on the book, real memories gardening as a family. So it was a top buy, and you should get it too. There's a link in the description, link in the comments. Click it right now. Just a £10 note. It's not bad for a £10 note, is it? £10 note. Memories. Get your hands on it now. It's an advertly promise to success. So beforehand, it wasn't really a big thing for me. And do you think that talking about it a lot more and getting people to realise that is important? And do you think you have to experience it first before you really get understand it?
Yeah, okay. So I think that when we garden, without you knowing about it, when you were doing more gardening, like prior to the past 6 months, say, you were feeling the well-being benefits of it, but without realising it because you were doing other stuff in life. This is the same for anyone. So we garden and we think we've got to do it because we need to mow the lawn or we need to get the bulbs in for spring. And we kind of see it more as a thing that has to be done. but you've got all this other stuff going on. So the kids have got to go to school, you've got work happening. So you don't really focus on the fact that it's doing you good. And it's only when you take it away that you then realize that, oh, hang on a minute, actually that was doing me the world of good. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what's happened during lockdown. So, all the craziness of work. I mean, I'm not saying that, being at home isn't hard, like homeschooling kids and everything, still got loads to do, but you don't have all of that mad white noise going on, like the pressure to put on all the right clothes. Like literally I'm wearing the same sweater for the third, fourth, fifth day in a row. I don't know. But like, it doesn't matter, does it? Yeah. You haven't got to have all that added pressure, being places, doing things, meeting up with people, which is great. And I miss it. But like, you have all of this stuff, and when you take all of that stuff away, you realize that what actually you need for your well-being is nature, is gardening. That's our intrinsic link. We are nature. We're just another species on the planet, the same as every other species. So it's like we have that link, and when it goes, we realize how important it was to us in the first place. Yeah. And then over the past couple of years, obviously there's been a lot more chat about mental health, which is brilliant. And I think it's sort of come hand in hand with that a little bit. So, mental health in general is obviously way higher up the agenda now, and the TV shows and celebrities and royalty even like talking about, the importance of talking about mental health. And so I think those two things have kind of come in at the same time. And then also we have this whole, the climate change stuff, and we've got David Attenborough on TV telling us, all about the planet and what we need to do and other things. So I think it's like a realization almost. Do you know what I mean? Where, it's like a holistic approach to it. Our mental health matters. We've taken away all of the white noise going on. We're being told the importance of climate change. And all of a sudden you have this realization about how good it is for you. Yeah. So I think it has become much more important over the last sort of couple of years, definitely. It isn't any more important than it ever has been, but I think that it's come more to the fore. We're sort of understanding it better.
What, I feel like you've been banging this drum for quite a while. Like, what made you sort of focus in on this sort of gardening? I guess like I've been gardening for 4 years. I don't know why I ever say that because it gives away how old I am. But yeah, like 40 years. And then on the times during the times I haven't been able to do it, I've really felt it. I've been like, oh, there's something missing. I don't really feel quite as buoyant or as happy, whatever. And then in my early 30s, I had like a major, I guess, like life-changing thing that happened. And the one thing that kept me sane was gardening. And it was then, so that's about 10-ish years ago, I decided to stop talking about the fact that it made me feel really good, but to find out why. And so when I was sort of researching into that, so yeah, I think it's been a good 10 years or so that I've been trying to say, look, it isn't just that it makes you feel good, like let's talk about why it makes you feel so good, like the importance of it. But that, I think a lot of people discover how important it is to them when they have had something really big happen in their lives, and then they realize just how much they really need to connect with outdoors. It's like helped so many people, hasn't it? I think so. And like I say, like over the past year or so, I feel like it's obviously people have ventured outside a lot more and used it as almost a coping mechanism, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. And I just hope that it carries on, because eventually when we can all go out and be a bit more normal, like I hope people don't forget how important it was, to go for walks in the woodlands and, grow your first carrots or get the allotment. Don't give lots of more people have taken up allotments, but like don't give them up when you have to go back to work, kind of thing. Yeah,
that's true. I think it will. I don't know. We talked about that a lot last year, actually, about whether, because gardening obviously had a big spike last year.
Yeah.
And whether it would come back. And I suppose this year is going to be a bit iffy anyway with people going back to work. So maybe another year we'll like cement it into people's minds a bit more.
It's so exciting though, isn't it? Like to see loads more people get into gardening. It's amazing. It is so nice. You think that's like the future, it's like a lot of new people coming into garden, like especially younger people. It's like that's the future. It's ace.
I literally, because of you, I can't, like, we've been on so many walks through woods and forests and stuff. And because of you, I cannot walk past a tree without thinking, Alan will hug that.
like every single one.
Everyone, that's a good hugger.
See? When you look at a tree, you see a good hugger sometimes.
I've tried. I mean, Olive gets something from it. I have tried hugging a tree. I don't know this energy. I've not felt it yet. Maybe I've not hugged the right tree. But what is this tree hugging thing about?
Well, it's about kind of like everything. Like, this sounds really wacky, but just bear with me, okay?
I'm with you, mate.
So, like, obviously, bear with me. Tree hugging's like always had this like hippie connotation, hasn't it? Because obviously, like, I think it all came from a lady who chained herself to a tree to stop it from being cut down in the 70s or something, and she was a hippie, so therefore it had this hippie connotation. And even before that, like, there was some record back to ancient times where a whole village of Native Americans like basically held on to trees in their village to stop them from being cut down. So tree hugging is like, has this connotation of like protecting trees. But scientifically, again, like, everything vibrates. Everything on the planet is vibrating, and trees just vibrate at a different frequency to our bodies. So essentially cutting out all of that scientific stuff, because I'm no scientist, when you come into contact with the tree, it balances your body. So it balances the vibration. So, but it's a bit like just getting good vibrations, if you like. So, like, you know, if you could play that song now, that would be acely, you know, good vibrations.
I had it somewhere and I'll get copyrighted, but we'll do it.
And whether you believe in that or not, I think is regardless. I think when you touch a tree or come into contact with a tree or look at trees, be around trees, we know that it reduces our blood pressure. So we know that it reduces stress and anxiety. We know it reduces blood pressure. Studies have shown that it even reduces like insulin, blood sugar levels for diabetes that don't have insulin. It improves cognitive abilities in children. I mean, there's just like a million reasons why it's good for you. And if it is the placebo effect, you know, when you hug a tree, you feel good. Who cares? Because you feel good. I always think that. Do you know what I mean? Like, when people are like, well, does it, you know, is it scientifically proven? I just think, who cares? Like, if you hug a tree and you feel good, you're not doing any harm to anyone or anything. You're connecting with nature. And if you walk away and go, oh, that was cool, you know, great.
Don't get me wrong. I'm going to keep trying.
What research do you need, you know? But the research does show that it is meant to be very good for you anyway. So I think when you're hugging a tree, Lee, and you come away and you're like, don't really get it, I think that you're probably not relaxing, and you probably feel like you look stupid, or do you know what I mean? Or like, oh, this is really weird, I'm like hugging a tree. Do you know what I mean? So you're like blocking it. Just relax.
Maybe it's the fact that I've not actually hugged anyone for over a year now, and maybe that's why the tree's not giving the same energy. I don't know.
It's not quite the same. It isn't. It's different. But I've got a T-shirt that says "Hug trees, not people," which I thought was very relevant right now. I think
trees are standing there going, "What the heck is going on at the moment?"
Yeah, I think you should try it again, but I think you should relax.
Okay.
Breathe. Just don't care about anything else in the world. Who cares what's going on? Who cares if someone can see you? Whatever, blah, blah. Just relax and breathe. Even if you just put your hands on, you don't have to hug it. Just like...
I'll keep you up to date with that progressive tree hugging. Here's another man that needs his own introduction. Miss the Godfather and God of Gardening.
The God of Gardening, it was called today, wasn't it?
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Oh, I'm good. I am so cold tonight. It is freezing in here, man.
I'm quite warm in here, if that's any consolation to you.
Not really.
Well, I'm warm. That's all I care about.
What's up, dude? What's going down?
No, I just wanted to come on because you and I were part of a webinar earlier. We were watching something, and it was to do with someone you had on earlier this week. Was it this week?
I forgot to mention this. I was going to mention this at the start of today's show that I just watched a webinar with Alan, and I forgot, but I got too caught up in the music.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's why I came to remind you. You know,
Good, eh? I enjoyed it.
I tell you what, it was really fascinating to see everyone. Should we explain to everyone what we're on about first?
Yeah, please do.
Right, Ellen Merry, who was on, was it Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday, talking about her Wellbeing Studio. She set up a weekly webinar, Wellbeing and Gardening, and you and I joined in today, and it was Kirsty from My Little Allotment talking about her experience and how gardening helped her. But the conversation with all these other gardeners was going along the lines of how gardening is a positive force in our lives.
It was quite interesting, actually, weren't it? Because I enjoyed Kirsty chat at the start, and then everyone sort of got in the comments, started sharing their feelings towards it all, which was nice. Which way where you got your self-proclaimed God.
Yeah, but Ellen said it, so you know she called me the god now of gardening. So that's
you wrote it first.
I wrote it first, but she's gone with it, so I'm sticking with that. And you called yourself Jesus, didn't you?
I had to. It was I couldn't go any higher. I couldn't think of anything higher than God. So I bagged the second place.
Yeah. The skinny Jesus gardener they called you, wasn't it?
Yep, that's coming soon.
But what I really took away from that is just fascinating how a group of gardeners can come together and have that same connection that happened on there.
Yeah.
A lot of people were just sort of saying that even just getting their hands stuck in the dirt makes them feel good, or hugging a tree, walking in nature, that sort of thing. It was a common thing that ran right throughout everyone involved.
Yeah, and I felt like everyone felt the same. Like everyone had that same vibe from it.
Yeah. Oh, that was definitely the case. Definitely the case. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with everyone and remind you to share it.
Yeah, I thought it was good, man. I really enjoyed it, and like I say, you know, I spoke about this on Tuesday, but doing them sort of group things are really nice to make you feel you're part of. Especially at the moment, it's difficult, isn't it? Like you used to go to shows, you used to go to events that everyone was like on the same page, and then now we're all on our own. It's sort of like, oh, is everyone? Like, hello, is everyone still there?
Who are you talking to?
I'm just saying. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. I thought it was good. There's another one next Thursday.
There is next Thursday. I've signed up for it already, 7:00. So if anybody else does want to get involved, go check out ellenmarygardening.co.uk and sign up there. Just plug in someone else's for you, Lee. Sorry.
Well, not all right, mate. We plugged it on Tuesday. We can carry on throughout this week. Yeah, it's good, man. I enjoyed it. Yeah, so I'll be there next Thursday for sure.
Cool. I'll be there too, and make myself known as God.
Mr. Suggett, thanks for coming on, dude.
You're welcome. Cheers, buddy.
What an amazing show it's been tonight. My name is Advert Lee, if you don't already know, and I'm here to say, hey, have you got a product that you want Advert Lee to sell? Perhaps. I bet you do. Well, before you make your decision, let me show off my skills. Plants. It's a plastic one, but does that matter? Well, he was slagging plastic plants off the other week. Plants. You like plants? Probably get some real ones, but plants. Yeah. If you want me to advertise your product, then please get in touch. lee@skinnyjeangardener.co.uk. Plants.
Nice place for her to sit. One of the things with lawns is that they're quite high maintenance. So we're going to resolve that by taking the lawn up and
just Let him speak. Don't think he's going to say the word I think he's going to say. Let him speak. Wait. I know. Let him speak. Hang on.
Putting an artificial one down.
Oh my gosh, Danny. Forget it. Get out of here. Get this mic off me. Unbelievable. Danny. Unbelievable. I apologise for I apologise for bringing this show onto into Wednesday night. Nourish was stuck with Titchmarsh or Costa. I thought we were on friendly turf. Well, not literally no turf at all. I didn't think he was going to do it. He did. He went there. He might change his mind halfway through. But, well, Beddoes has sort of helped me out. He said, he'll be fine under the snow. Trust me, I've seen it. It's only grass. It's only grass. Probably be gone by now. It's not really the point. It'd probably be gone. Hey, it's only artificial grass. That was like 7 years ago. Be in the tip by now. Damn, I knew I should have checked this out first. Your website has got a new Wellbeing Studio, which I found quite interesting. I've looked at there's so much to look at it. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so I've been thinking for ages about having like a Wellbeing Studio online where people can go to just to read other people's stories, you know, about well-being, how gardening's helped them, and then trying to incorporate other stuff. So it's not maybe just gardening, but other nature-related things. So like there's loads of crafts and art that's amazing, and it's all based on nature. So I've been thinking about this for ages, and then I'd already sort of made some plans, and I was going to have a separate website for it. And then the current lockdown kind of came in, and I was like, well, there's kind of no time like the present, is there? I'm not going to get another website to begin with. Let's see how it goes. Mm-hmm. And so designed like the studio on my site. And really it was just to try and help people, you know, connect with other people who love plants for well-being. So I realized that like people, plants, well-being. And I kept trying to think of a name for it. And I was like, why do I need a name for it? It is about people, plants and well-being. So I was just like, that's as simple as that, really. And I think like people are always inspired by other people's stories. So I just thought like it's about connecting with the person behind the product, art, craft, garden, whatever. And we are so disconnected from people at the moment. So I know it's still online, you know, but I thought that was maybe a nice way to like connect with people and just see how wellbeing has kind of helped them, and little hints and tips and stuff. And I've had so many contributions that I'm now having to get another website because I can't keep it all on my website because I've run out of space.
That's good that people want to share, right?
It's amazing. And, you know, I always remember being told ages ago that people don't like talking about themselves, but I don't really think that's true.
I mean, personally, I love talking about myself. Like, I do it 5 nights a week. But yeah, people want to share. Like, people want to share their stories. Like, sort of going back to what I was saying earlier, like, without really knowing people's personal experiences, that sort of brings it to life a little bit more. Well, anyway, for me personally, reading other people's experiences brings it to life a little bit more, rather than it being. I use kids gardening as a thing. Get kids gardening as like a buzzword. But unless you really know schools and parents' experiences, you don't really feel connected to it. So I suppose it's the same for wellbeing.
Yeah, it is. Like, we can say all of the time, oh, gardening's good for your well-being. But like the very first question you said to me is, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? What is gardening for well-being? But when you read some of those stories, you start to understand what that means from like real life people who've experienced it themselves. So it's really just sort of bringing people and plants together and trying to like connect people, you know, so that they can see how beneficial it really can be.
Well, you've got some talks coming up as well, some Zoom talks as we.
Like, I know, like I had like last year everything was on Zoom, so Zoom, and I actually got really bored of Zoom. Like, genuinely, I was just like, I don't want to be on here anymore. I've just had enough. So I had a few months of off Zooms and webinars and all of that. But I think if the topic is something where people can connect, then that's really, really important. And there was just some amazing stories, and like, you know, some of the people who are doing some of the talks, they're just such inspirational people, like genuine, down to earth people who have experienced how good gardening has been for their well-being. And so I just asked them if they'd be happy to like do a little half an hour to an hour max chat, you know, tips, their story, you know, just giving some guidance, you know, about how you can be a mindful gardener, or how they specifically have used gardening for well-being. And then we've got someone talking about houseplants and how good they are for well-being. And I'm going to do like an art one where you can do watercolor painting and stuff, just really relaxed, chilled, you know, free, just meeting the person behind the art or the garden or whatever. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I just want it to be chatty, you know, like we're just chatting. Like, I want it to just be relaxed, and
that's how it should be. It also gives we're not really going to have any shows this year, are we? I don't know. Let's not put too much of a down on it, but it also gives a voice this year to that, because without you doing something like that, then people's stories won't be told in that sense. Usually someone will be on a stage somewhere or at a show talking about it, but obviously not this year.
And also, there's a lot of people who are really well known out there who will still somehow or another get seen or heard because they have the platform to. Like, it might be that perhaps they, I don't know, do something online themselves, or like I keep seeing like new courses online coming out from all kinds of people, and you know, the RHS will perhaps provide a platform for some people to be heard. But then there's a lot of people who have these amazing life stories, and I think they should have a chance to say, because do you know what I mean? Like, what, you know, they might see people at the shows and have a little chat and stuff, but you won't perhaps often see them up on the stage, or certainly not being pushed out there at, like, you know, at some of the shows, and certainly not during lockdown, because all the big organisations will always go for the big names.
We know what the talk circuit's like. It's like you could be the worst speaker in the world, but if you've got a name, then you're sorted.
Yeah,
Look at
Yeah.
Michael Perry. He makes a living out of it.
Yeah.
I had to get a dig in on him. I had to.
At some point, he had to come in, didn't he? But
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I just genuinely think like there's everyday amazing people out there who have amazing stories, who've done great things for people, with people, for themselves, and so I'd like to use it as a bit of a platform to get them seen and heard.
Are you doing them throughout the whole of the year? Have you got
I'm gonna try.
a long list coming up?
I'm going to try to do like 2 a month, maybe, just because it also means that I probably need to be on the call, or to at least make sure it's all set up and everyone's there and ready. And then at the moment, obviously, it's quite a lot of admin for me to sort everything out whilst I'm still trying to transfer all of that information to a new site. So I think I'm going to do it every other week, and then we'll just see how it goes. Like, and I never really want to charge anyone for it, because I just think it's about, it's more than that. It's about like that connection with people and plants, and that should be free. Really.
Yeah, it's. I think you're right. I think it's a really nice thing to do. Brings people together as well. Like, I mean, I've been doing some group talking things in the past couple of weeks, and it gives people a focus as well. Like in the week, I do my thing on Monday, and I look forward to it. Like it's something to focus on. Do you know what I mean? So having these sort of things keep people going at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
I think so too. Do you know what though? I did do a talk for Garden Club the other day, and on Zoom, when like you see everyone's faces like in the squares, there's loads and loads of these faces, and I thought, oh, this is really nice. These are like people. I'm talking to people. But then I thought afterwards, I literally don't know what I would do in a room full of people now. I don't know if I've forgotten like any. Is there like social etiquette? Do you have that? What do you say when you say hello? Do you just say hello? Like, do we hug again? Do we continue doing this? Like, I have no idea. I literally don't know what will happen when I walk into a room of people again.
Anything but don't give me the elbow. I hate the elbow.
Elbow's weird, isn't it?
I think it is going to be strange. I think we're almost going to have to learn to speak to people. Like, it's easy chatting over here, right? But face to face, we might be like, I'm sure we won't be, but we're like, oh, hey.
It's either going to be like, I think it will either be a little bit awkward, kind of everyone's a bit, should we get close? Shouldn't we get close? Can we hug? Should we hug? Or like, or it's going to be manic, where we're all going to go, wow, yeah, that's people, woo, give us a hug.
High fives all around.
Yeah.
Show me the vaccine. Oh, you've not had it. Get out. That's gonna be a whole. That's gonna be a whole nother. That's gonna be a whole nother thing in the future, isn't it? We're learning to connect with people online at the moment, but learning to reconnect face to face is going to be a whole.
Yeah,
nother.
It's a bit like reconnecting with nature. Like we are nature, but we disconnected a great deal. We moved into the digital world, forgot about nature, and now we're all sort of learning to reconnect, I suppose. So
we should all join happier people, though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Very good.
Wally. And have you brought, like, in my head, I feel like you've brought a book out about this. Am I not?
Oh, it's coming out soon.
You've not told me quietly, have you? Like, this is news.
This is news. Well, so I think I've mentioned it, but literally twice, maybe.
Stuck in my head.
I haven't gone big on the book thing yet, but in a couple of weeks, it's the cover release. And then I don't know if it's pre-order at the same time. I actually have no idea. I wrote the book and then gave it to someone else to deal with. I don't know. The cover release is like in a couple of weeks, and then I guess you can pre-order at that point. But it comes out in May. But yeah, I wrote it. I started writing it before lockdown last year, and finished it during lockdown. I can't remember what month, but actually lockdown was quite handy for that, because I'm not entirely sure how I would have finished writing it if we weren't in lockdown.
Oh, that's so exciting. What is the title? Just Anna Mary Life Stories?
Oh no, you don't want to hear about those. I Am I allowed to? I don't even know if I'm allowed to say what the title
Don't
is.
say it if we're going to get in trouble. You know, they
Yeah, I might-
feel like stupid, right? Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to. There's only a title, but it's someone will
Yeah.
moan.
Yeah, it's only a title, so it really shouldn't matter. But I just don't. No one said that I can say it yet, so I'll be good and not say it. But suffice to say, it is about gardening and well-being.
It says it's okay. We'll guess later on. Oh well, thank you so much for chatting to us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to chat with you. It's always nice to chat with you. You make me smile.
I try my hardest. Are you gonna? Oh, man, like, are you gonna have like a book launch?
Well, not in the middle of a pandemic. That's a really bad time to launch a book, right?
I have to. Well, I launched mine just before the pandemic, so it could have been. could be worse. At least you know what you're getting.
Yeah, but your book would be good for people in lockdown to help, give ideas for kids in the garden and stuff when they need lots of things to do.
Plug. I know, right? That's what you'll get used to plugging all your book all the time. People get bored of me hearing about me plugging my book.
You should plug it more. Keep on. Wear people down, Lee.
People don't do it. Ellen, thanks so much for coming on, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Back in the garden, it's time to start taking up the turf. Our turf cutter can't easily reach the edges of the lawn, so we need to take them up by hand.
We're going to get it by hand. You've cut the grass, which is one step. Now the next stage is just use a spade to dig in to the turf. Dig a little square with the edge, and then just get down and put your elbow in front of your knee. Okay. Then what I'm doing here is using my body weight, rather than just using my arms to get the turf up. There you go.
Oh God, it's like doing yoga, isn't it?
This will take me 10 hours to do on its own. Oh, Danny.
Elbow is in front of my thigh. That's it. Just rock. Now, if we put a spade in your hand...
Oh, God, now it goes wrong.
Yeah, no, it won't.
It does.
Now do it. Right, look, if you put your elbow behind your thigh like this, it does feel unnatural, but take your time, don't worry. Hang on a minute, I've just noticed something. Oh. Now, viewers, never leave the spade this way round, because you can stand on the edge, not see it, stand on the edge and flip it up and it hit you.
That is hilarious, though, Danny. You say don't do it, but it is hilarious. So, boing.
Straight in the face. So always keep your tools or the spade that way down if you're going to lay it on the ground, or even better still, put it up against the wall.
We could put it here. You put it like that. Put it like, put it over here. Put the spade like that, right? You could put it like this, right? Just put it down on the floor, like that. Yeah, you can put it on your back like that. You put it on your back, just carry it around. Yeah. You could put it in over here, put it over there, just put it in the shed. Yeah, or you could hang it in, just hang it up, right? Yeah. You could use it. It's up to you.
Right, shall we carry on? That was just my serious moment.
Very good. Safety first and all that.
I tell you what, Sonia.
Try and do it without the elbow in the
Sonia.
knee.
God, Danny interrupts more than me.
Sonia, I've got a great idea.
Yeah.
Do it the way you did it before.
Yeah, of course.
Catch you later. Bye.
After all that.
All she's been through, Zoe really deserves a stress-free garden. And by creating 4 raised beds, Danny's on his way to making that happen. First, he needs to mark out exactly where they're going to be.
Sonia, as you know, because Zoe's got restricted movement, the idea build a garden where she didn't have to bend or stretch. Yes. What we're going to do is we're going to mark out where we can put the raised beds.
Okay.
Okay.
At what point is Danny going to rip this grass up, man? Because I feel like I don't know much about artificial grass. I feel like it takes quite a while to lay. Are they really going to put artificial grass down? Is that really going to happen? Find out next week on Instant Gardener Watch Party, everybody. That's right. continuing this Good Tuesday is this man, Mr. Mark Mackey. Hello, Mark.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
So we've interrupted you while you're working.
No, that's fine. Now, I was just refreshing my memory because Ellen Mary brought up some brilliant points earlier about plants interacting with one another. This here about vibrations is actually there's some real science behind it, in as much as that for many years we've learned that plants produce chemicals which other plants can detect. So as an example of that, trees in Africa, when giraffes start eating the leaves, the trees communicate to the other trees that there are giraffes around and start making the leaves bitter. So the giraffe herd moves on and they only graze a little bit, and so it's little and often, and that means that the trees don't get completely decimated by the giraffes.
Right.
Similarly, you may have seen on social media these amazing pictures where if you're in a forest and you lie on your back and you look up through a canopy, that the leaves don't touch in certain plants, in certain tree species. Now they're reacting to touch and to light, so the leaves all move around based on the maximum sunlight, because all the trees in the community want to get the maximum sunlight to be able to grow healthily. Similarly, back to my stuff, the fungi below ground have been shown to be able to communicate to all members of the plant community that are connected to the fungi.
Really?
So it is, I don't know if I already mentioned this before, but the BBC did an experiment whereby they grew a tub with 3 bean plants in. They put aphids on one, green fly on one, put bags over the other 3 so they couldn't actually get to the other ones. But through the below ground community of the mycorrhiza, they managed to communicate, hey, I've got aphids over here. You chaps, you need to start producing your natural defences to be able to make yourself less attractive to them. So this idea that plants have this vibrational element is not completely off the wall. There's stuff we are learning all the time. Sorry, I've still got Lady Antebellum playing on the back. Lady A playing in the background. I hope you can't hear that.
Yeah, crack on, mate. Great. A little bit.
And I'll put my hand up that back in the day I used to be a tree hugger. I used to be a hippie, and I have hugged trees as well. So I'm just saying.
Well, I'm still looking for the right tree, as I said earlier, mate. It's a bit like a little tangent. It's a little bit. Have you ever watched The Matrix?
Oh yes.
It's a bit like The Matrix, because old Neo, he sees the trees and bits, a bit like that, isn't it? So technically, anyone that's watch The Matrix, and that will tell you exactly how trees communicate.
And Avatar as well, the James Cameron film with the great big blue aliens. Yeah, that was all interconnected. And to completely geek out on you here, the new Star Trek actually has their spaceship hyperdrive is based on fungi and the interconnectedness of the universe, being able to travel those routes. But we'll get away from the fungi, and I'll leave you on a passing note, which is a Shakespeare quote. There are more things in heaven and earth than are meant in your philosophy, Horatio. You never know what's out there. It's a big, beautiful, wonderful world.
It really is, mate. It really is. And we're literally just scratching the surface, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Aki, always lovely to hear from you, my friend. And I'll speak to you later in the week.
Yeah, you take care, mate.
Nice one, dude. The fantastic Mr. Mark Mackey there. And a little bit of backing music for him as well, right? Wow. And what another, I mean, we've had quite a few long shows. Last week's show was an hour and a half special. This week was a little bit longer too. So it's hard when you've got so much great content gold, guys. Content team. It's so hard to fit it all in. So hard. But it's so much fun. I really appreciate it. Look, if you listen on the podcast, I really appreciate it. Go give it a share. Let people know about it. Like Advert Lee always talks about. Oh, Advert Lee. It's getting cold. I'm getting cold now. Go give it a share. Let people know about it. I really appreciate it. Currently, on the audio podcast, we have around 12,000 downloads a day on the podcast. A day. My February aim is to get 20,000, and you, dear listener, can join us on that venture. Let me have a quick look. Today's. Hang on. How many today has downloaded the feed? Please hold, caller. This is a team effort, right? Only for Lee's ego. Wait for that. Wait then. Hang on. Wait there. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're just touching under 12,000. I'll try and get 20,000 downloads a day by the end of Feb. I can only really do it with your help. So if you do fancy just giving it a shout, even if you're walking down the street and go, "Hey, listen to the podcast," even if you do that, I'd really appreciate it. Together, we can be stronger, and make Lee's ego even bigger. Donate your time now. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it today. I love doing these shows. I really appreciate you guys being about. Have a fantastic rest of your week, night, evening, day, whenever you're listening to this. It doesn't matter. Just have a good one. Good vibes only, everyone. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Together, we're going to make it through. Much love. Look after yourself, and I shall speak to you next week. As he looks for the outro button. Much love. Sicilia. Or Pacilia. You just read it off there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on.
Oh, I can't hear you, Anon. I've done something wrong with the thing. Anyway, elephant poo is what I got.
Good evening, Lee. How are you?
Great, mate. Your signal is always terrible, but I'm good, my friend. Excuse me. You got an allotment? When I go, don't put artificial grass on top of me, all right?
Are you going to get composted, Lee?
Hey, Advert Lee here. Enjoyed the show? Good. You can listen to the best of episodes on the podcast every Sunday. That's right. Lee uploads it every Sunday. The best of podcast. So